And my first order of business is to introduce myself. I'm Ramiro Salazar, Director of the San Antonio Public Library, and I want to welcome all of our participants to this virtual community meeting to give library staff and the staff of Public Works an opportunity to share with you the design renovations for the Memorial Branch Library. But it's my distinct pleasure and honor to first introduce our Councilwoman for District 5, Councilwoman Shirley Gonzalez, who will be providing welcoming remarks. Councilwoman?
Great. Thank you, Ramiro, for the introduction. And it's so nice to see everybody virtually. I'm Shirley Gonzalez, Councilwoman for District 5, and so excited about the future of our San Antonio libraries. I have 3 young children, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And so we are frequent users of our libraries, and not just the physical spaces, but of course all the programming that we do at our libraries. And so having a great space to enjoy reading for leisure or for study is so important. And so I think that's why this renovation, I think, is particularly exciting. So for those of you all, and I think most of you that are participating on the call are familiar with the Memorial Library, otherwise you wouldn't be here. And we all know that it was looking quite a bit tired and in desperate need of a refresh. The comments always were that it looked like an old post office, which really didn't reflect the great activity that was happening inside the library. So every time I went to the Memorial Branch Library, which is not the closest one to me, the one I go to most frequently was Basan, or then recently Collins Garden, because it had been recently updated. And they had a great children's section and lots of computers and activities for the kids there, in addition to sort of the physical space around it, made for a really great space. And so we hope to kind of reinvent that at Memorial, and it has a slightly different feel with the university across the street and the high school behind it, but we have plenty of room here to just really make a great space. So I hope you all really love it. I've had a chance to view the library virtually, and perhaps there have been some tweaks made, I'm not sure, but it sure is a beautiful, beautiful space. And I can't wait for us to see it live and in person. I know that these virtual meetings have actually been quite popular. So I don't know, Ramiro, or somebody on your team, I know that on my team, especially with the neighborhood meetings, we're getting feedback that people really like the virtual setting. Although there's nothing like being there in person to see each other and to also feel the presence of the space and the transformation that we will have. But also, we would have snacks and other things during our meetings too. So we look forward to bringing those back. But this is, I think, a great representation of what we can expect to see in our library. And the timeline, I know, will be presented as well. So please, everybody, utilize the chat features so we can get some feedback about what you think of it, and we'll look forward to the rest of the presentation. So thank you very much, Ramiro, and the team for working on this project. It was a 2017 bond project, and it was $3.3 million for the renovation of the library. So I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Ramiro and the team, and I'll turn it back.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gonzalez, and I do want to publicly commend you for, you're not only a champion and advocate for District 5, but for libraries. You have always been a big friend of libraries. Not only are you a believer in the service that we provide, but to your users, you indicated. So thank you for working hard also to get funds allocated for this project, and we're excited to be presenting the design portion of this project with the community and our stakeholders. And to help me with the presentation, I'd like to introduce Jeff Edwards. He will be talking and walking us through the various design elements of how we plan to not only update and modernize Memorial, but to give it more of a curb appeal. So he'll talk about that. So he will follow me in a few minutes. But I do want to acknowledge other folks that are are part of the staff and part of the team. We have Kathy Donnellan, Assistant Director for the San Antonio Public Library, and Dale McNeil, Assistant Director also for the library. Kathy oversees support services, which includes capital projects. Dale oversees public services, which actually delivers the services to the community. Paul Stahl, Chair of the Library Board, may be joining us today, as well as our Library Board Representative for District 5, Lupe Ochoa. I want to recognize the friends of the Amigos Memorials friends for also their support and for being engaged with the library and for giving us excellent feedback. The president, Eugenio Rodriguez, has been always very cordial and very free with his feedback, which I greatly appreciate and I encourage. And so I want to acknowledge the support of the Amigos of the Memorial Branch Library, the president of the West Side Neighborhood Association Coalition, Velma Peña. Hopefully she's with us this evening, but she and her coalition have been a strong supporter and advocate for the libraries. We really want this project to be transparent, so I appreciate the feedback that we get and the opportunity to have that dialogue. I believe your Chief of Staff, Councilwoman Teresa Menendez-Myers, is also with us in case there's some questions. Representing Public Works is Stacy Gonzalez, Project Manager. We also have Elma Nieto Rodriguez, Public Services Administrator, and the Branch Manager, Maria Gonzalez, should be part of this conversation as well. So the next part, if I may, Jessica, can you go to the next slide? So here, Councilwoman mentioned the chat feature of the WebEx to submit questions, but we also want to provide other opportunities. You can also, we've provided a special email address, library.director@sanantonio.gov. You can submit questions that way in English or Spanish, or you could call 210-207-2595. We're prepared to take questions from our stakeholders and our memorial community. Next slide. So as Councilwoman indicated, $3.3 million was approved by you, the voters, for this renovation project, and we're happy that we're now very close to starting the construction for this project. Next slide. So as Councilwoman Gonzalez indicated, the building is looking tired, and it's certainly in need of refreshing. And I hope you will, and I trust that you will agree with me that once you see the plans presented by Jeff Edwards, representing Munoz Company Architects, you will agree that it will be looking much more refreshed once the project is completed. So again, $3.3 million for the project. The project scope includes not only complete renovation of the interior, reconfiguring the spaces to make it more user-friendly, more efficient, more to instill pride in the community. It also includes an addition, which includes a lobby, a new entrance, so that people, when they arrive, they feel excited. And so you will see that. And again, giving the building a more refreshed and improving its curb appeal. So next slide. So very briefly, as I indicated, it includes a new lobby, a new digital monument sign. When we solicited public input, we had a community meeting some months ago, maybe it was a year ago. One of the things that you told us is that you wanted a larger monument sign so it will mark the location of the community library. Again, we completely reconfigured the space as part of the design to make it more user-friendly, a new service desk. We were completely refinishing, replacing the carpeting, doing the walls. Everything will be new. The community asked for meeting room improvements. You will hear that as well, and you will see it in addition to that. A dedicated teen area, more friendly and more exciting children's area. You will see that. A place for computers where they're more accessible, You will also see that as part of the new design. A designated adult learning area is also included as part of the reconfiguration and new design for the renovation of the Memorial Branch libraries. It includes 2 quiet study rooms. And also something we heard from the community, that this library, Memorial Branch Library, was a tribute to our military, our veterans. So we, with the architects, injected some elements to acknowledge and recognize our military connection. And of course, we also replaced the furniture. Some of you may recall it was not very pretty, was not very attractive. It was high, and it impacted the view lines, and you'll hear about that as well. Next slide, Jessica. So again, this is what it looks like now. Next slide. And now I will turn it over to Jeff Edwards, Principal and CEO for the Munoz and Company Architects. Jeff?
Hey, thank you, Ramiro. Thanks so much. Again, my name is Jeff Edwards with Munoz and Company. I can't see everybody out there, but I would imagine that many of you might have attended a previous community meeting that we had about this space a while back. It was a very spirited, great meeting. We got a lot of really good input. And so let me walk you through a few of those things now and kind of show you what we've done. And I'm really excited about this because I do feel like we've been able to address pretty much all of the comments that we heard at the last meeting. So right away, just kind of taking a look at the overall site plan, you're going to notice a few things. Up there at the top of the page, you'll see the location for the new monument sign, which is larger, and it's got a digital message board on there that you'll see in just a bit, which is really going to be useful to advertise things happening at the library. You're going to see right away that there's a new lobby addition on the north end of the building right there. And we've also are going to reestablish access from Cornelia Street to the south. I know that was something that came up several times in the meeting. So that you'll be able to get here off of Culebra or off of Cornelia, which I think will be nice. Let's go to the next slide if we can. And so starting kind of out on the street, so this is on the left, you'll see the new monument sign. Again, it's about 15 feet tall. The area there in white is the area that will be the new digital board that's going to be able to advertise future events at the library and really kind of let everybody know what's going on. And the increased size of the monument sign is going to make it much easier to find as you're driving down the street there. And what you're going to see in just a minute is that the materials of this board, so we've got some colorful metal panels that are done in a blue to reflect our good neighbors at both St. Mary's and Memorial High School. And then we're also bringing in a little base of the brick that's on the original building, just to kind of honor the original building in that way. And in the distance, you can begin to see the new lobby. And so maybe we'll go to the next slide, and I'll show you that a little more closely. We can do that. So here you're moving in, you're driving in the drive, and you can see the metal. So we've got a metal panel element that forms this new lobby, and then the infill of that is all glass. So you're going to have this great space with great natural light in there. And this is going to go on the front of the building to really kind of transform the look of the building. And then we brought in some sunshades, those stick elements that you see just underneath the blue metal on the new part of the building. Yeah, those right there where the cursor is. We did those with an arched shape that reflects the architecture of the original building, which you can see just to the right there. And then in addition to that, we added some new windows into what you're going to see is the teen area there on the right. That's correct. And we also have another sunshade element done in the blue metal to kind of tie it back to the lobby addition. You might also notice that in the existing window insets where the arches are, we've added some blue tile. So this blue is going to really help tie everything together. And everybody talked about wanting to see some color addition to the front of what was otherwise just a pretty plain brick building. So we think that's going to really do a lot for the visuals there. Let's go to the next. And so here's another angle of that front where you can really see the sunshades and then the big blue kind of overarching element that defines the lobby, and then all of that great new glass that's going to let a lot of fantastic natural light into that space and be a great reading space. We can go to the next slide. So here you're stepping inside that lobby. And so again, this is an all new addition here, and off to your right is where the original building starts. And you're going to see we have this area set up with some lounge furniture, so you'll be able to check out a book and hang out and read in the shade of the tree outside with all this great kind of natural light coming into the building. Very modern. You're going to notice with the rings up there that are the light fixtures, we've got all new LED lights in here, so it's going to bring kind of a whole new light quality into the space that's going to make it feel super nice. On those existing brick arches, we've added some more of the tile that I mentioned on the exterior there. And down below that are two stainless steel elements, which are going to be the memorial monument that honors the veterans of San Antonio in this space. And so let's move in on that. We're still working on finalizing this design and like getting all of the text and the information that's going to be on the monument there. We're showing right now that we've got the seals of each of the branches of service, and then there will be some text kind of talking about the service of the veterans of San Antonio and what they've done to help protect our freedom here. And there you see, again, the blue glazed tile that we've added in the insets of those existing original arches. We go to the next slide. And so this is one of the things that I'm really excited about. We really have, as Ramiro said, done a complete transformation of the interior of the building. So every material and surface that you see and touch inside the building is going to be new, and it's going to be great. And we've kind of gone in and really listened to the comments that we got at the last meeting and created some new spaces within what was once just a pretty big single open space, and created some specialized use spaces, which we're going to get into in just a second. But one other thing before we really go inside the building that I want to point out, if we go to the next slide, we've also made sure that we've provided several barrier-free ways into the building so that if somebody has a difficult time walking or they're in a wheelchair, it's going to be easy to get to the new lobby of this building from all of the parking spaces and all of the various paths leading into the building in a good barrier-free, accessible way. So all of these paths are barrier-free. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through the building just real quickly. We've done some blow-ups, and you can see in the lower left corner, the area that's circled in red is the area that we're looking at first. So again, you'd come into the new addition, the lobby space right there, and you saw the lounge furniture that's there with the monument at the back. And you'd go into the hall, and what the area that used to be the circulation desk is now going to be the adult learning area. And at the end of the hall in red, we've combined the circulation desk and the information desk together so that it's going to be more efficient, so that it'll be easier for visitors of the library to really get any help they need right there in that one space at the new circulation desk. And immediately below that, you're going to notice that we've got a laptop kiosk so that people will be able to check out laptops there and have real access to technology in this new building. It's going to be fantastic. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so we're jumping across to the west side of the building now. And again, one of the things that led to the most spirited conversation in our last meeting was some of the issues about needing some specialized spaces where things could happen and people could have activities going on that might create some noise, and being able to separate that from the main reading area. So What you're going to see here is we've got a dedicated teen room, and you'll notice that it's got its own unique furniture in there that's going to be specially for the teens. But on the right side there's a glass wall that's going to separate it from the main reading space so that, again, they can be having activities and talking in there and doing what they need to be doing without necessarily disturbing any of the other patrons. So it's going to be great and allow for a lot of multiple uses and flexible uses within the building. The next 3 spaces down, which are in kind of that orangey yellow, are flex spaces, and then 2 small meeting or study rooms. And again, really what these are is multi-purpose spaces. So at sometimes they can be used for group meetings and group, like if people are working on a group project together. But one of them could also be dedicated as a quiet room, where if somebody really wanted to have quiet, they could set that room aside, and only people would be in there would be people who would, be being very quiet, so that you could really focus on what you're doing. So those flexible meeting spaces are going to give a lot of great additional use to the library. Can we go to the next slide? So now we're moving to the south here. So in the pink there is the children's area again. And so you notice that it's got some unique and kind of fun furnishings happening inside there that are specific and unique to the children's area. And again, it's closed off. It's got glass on it, but it is closed off so that if they're doing a learning activity in the children's area, it will be able to happen without disturbing other patrons in the building. And immediately to the east of that, we've moved the multi-purpose room from its current location and made it larger. It's got great natural light on the south, so it'll have access to all those windows. And on the north side, it's also got windows that will allow it to look into the main library. And we're going to have all new furniture that's very flexible so that you can push tables together and pull them apart, so that whether you're having a neighborhood meeting or a community meeting, or there's a big lecture of somebody giving a talk about a book, all those different configurations can be set up in there. And it's going to have state-of-the-art AV so that they can show videos and slides, and all that stuff can happen within that great multi-purpose space. There's a storage room right off that multi-purpose space where the furniture can be stored if you want to open that space up more. And there's going to be a little coffee bar so that you could serve drinks in the library if you needed to do that in the multi-purpose room, in that white area just to the right of the multi-purpose. The bathrooms that you see there in the gray are going to be all new. And then from there, we get into the spaces that are really kind of the back of house. So that's where the library staff is going to work. But I will tell you that we've kind of worked that out as well. So they're going to be able to serve all of the patrons in the library even more efficiently than they already do. We can go to the next slide. And then, of course, not to leave out the main space of the library, we've got the big space. So we've got all the book stacks there kind of at the south end of the plan. And we're going to still have all the books in the library. It's going to be a great space, but we've come in and immediately above that area, we're adding some lounge furniture. And then those pinwheel seats that you see above that, those are all going to be computer spaces. So we're going to have a whole host of new computers in the library that are going to be great for all the patrons. They can really get online and do their research and do what they need to do at all these new computers. And then out near the windows on the north side, we've got a great reading room where we're going to have super comfortable lounge furniture, and it's going to have connectivity so you can plug your devices in. It's going to be real comfortable and get great natural light there from the north. And all of those are going to be served by a new copy area immediately to the right of that. So if you're doing some research on the computer or even from a book, you can go and print something or make a copy, and all that will be kind of contained in one simple, easy-to-use area that's also within easy eyesight of the circulation desk, so that if anybody needs help, it'll be real easy to do that. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a materials board, again, kind of showing we're bringing bringing some color into the space. And what you're going to notice is that each room and each space in the building have kind of a dedicated palette of materials. So what we're doing is we're creating little environments within the bigger space. And we think that's going to be nice and add some variety and be really, really a fun aspect of the library. Let's go to the next slide. And so I'm going to walk you through a few things. So what we did was we took some before pictures. So this is the way the library currently looks. So that's the information desk with the big light fixtures that are in the kind of what I'll call the clearest story area, the tall area of the existing library. And if we go to the next slide, we've kind of re-envisioned that, and we've lightened things up. We've got, again, all new LED lights. It's going to add a whole new quality of light to the space. The fixtures are not as heavy so that you get a sense of that great tall space. You can see through the library, which is going to be absolutely great. And there immediately on your right is the circulation desk. And again, we've envisioned kind of a new mural that's about the community and about reading that's happening up around the tall, clearest story space. And you can kind of see that working its way around the space there. If we go to the next slide. So this is kind of looking back towards what will be the new, if we can change the slide, new circulation desk. So the people that are off to the far left of this slide, they're basically coming from the entrance. So coming through the lobby, and they'll immediately see the new circulation and information desk where they can get help and be directed on where to go if they need some assistance. And that'll be like the command central for the space. And there, just to the left of the circulation desk, you'll see the adult learning area where it says learn there, which is going to be, again, kind of a great addition to this library to allow that kind of dedicated learning to happen in that space. We go to the next slide. Okay, so this is kind of the south end of the building, which had some children's area in the teen corner and kind of a hodgepodge of other things. And again, we've gone in and created some new spaces in here. So in the next slide, you'll see that same area, and we've got the meeting space there at the very kind of center of the slide. And you'll see the children's room off there to the right with the new lighting and the new colors. And they'll all be clearly identified with new graphics that are going to help people intuitively know where they need to go and where they want to go in the library. Go to the next slide. So this is a view inside the children's area. So again, you'll see it's colorful. They've got this great, fun, movable furniture. We're still kind of working through that, but it's going to be great and just for the kids and kind of create their own little environment. And again, it's got glass so that you can see into it, but it is separated so that it'll have some acoustical separation so that people in the main reading space won't be disturbed by activities in here. And then finally, we've got the teens area. So again, a unique space just for the teens, that they've got their own space in the building, and it's going to have furniture that's special for them. You can see all the glass looking back out to the main reading room, but it'll be separated so that if they're working on a project or talking about something in their space, it won't necessarily have a sound impact on the people in the main room. And I think, Romero, that kind of walks us through the design. And so thank you for letting me do that. I appreciate it. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Jeff. It looks wonderful. And I just want to emphasize that we had a conversation about how, and it was suggested by Councilwoman Gonzalez and her team about the idea of incorporating blue to be aligned with the Memorial High School. Their school colors is blue, and St. Mary's. And so when we, Jeff added the blue color, we really liked the way it popped and it looked. And now it complements both Memorial High School and St. Mary's. I wanted to make that observation. I do want to share with our participants the project schedule. So we started the design phase with a community meeting to get input from the community, to get your aspiration for this branch library so we could learn what we needed to be working on. And I trust that what we presented today to you responded to that feedback with one caveat that I'll explain in a few minutes. Then we are going through contracting to actually hire the contractor and get the contractor on board. And we expect to commence construction sometime in January, more or less, and finish the construction project by the summer, hopefully in time for summer reading program. That's our goal. And so perhaps we'll reopen with introducing the summer reading program. So we're going to work very hard to stay on schedule and to have the project completed in time for the summer reading program. Jessica, can you go to the slide where it talks about the community input, because I wanted to acknowledge and what we're going to do with it. If you can go back to that slide. Okay, here it is. The last bullet. I just want to acknowledge that the community talked to us about reopening the back entrance. So I and my team made a site visit. The back entrance was open. We will work with public transportation, with the transportation department, to see how we can keep that access point open. We also talked when we met with Councilwoman Gonzalez and her team about other improvements in the exterior landscaping. It is not part of this project. I want to be very clear, but it's a priority for us, and we are looking at figuring out ways of how we can also do some improved landscaping, either through general fund monies that we may have available. So the budget is very tight for us as well. I want to tell the community that we're committed, that so when we reopen the renovated library, we will also have some improvements to the ground so that it looks nicer. So I wanted to acknowledge that point and to also share with the participants that that's on our to-do list, doing some landscaping, and maybe xeriscaping, so that it looks much more attractive. So I wanted to acknowledge that. So let's go back to where I was at the schedule. And I believe that concludes my part. What's the next slide, Jessica? Questions. So we're now with Q&A, questions and answers. I'm happy to respond to any questions. I may ask members of the library team or others, Jeff, perhaps, to help me respond to any questions that I may not be able to answer. So, Jessica, do we have any questions?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, let's get started then.
The first question is, would there be more parking spaces, more computers, and copy machines for anyone to print or scan?
Okay, I believe Kathy, who's Assistant Director for Support Services, including capital projects, will be able to respond to that question. Kathy?
Yes. So there will be a multifunction device as part of the adult learning area that will allow the community to print, copy, fax, and scan. So that's a yes. In terms of computers, we're going to be almost doubling the number of computers through a laptop dispenser. This is a device that'll hold a dozen computers. Folks can come in and either use a desktop or they can check out a laptop from the dispenser and use it anywhere in the branch. So we're going to be almost doubling the number of public computers. We are not, however, adding parking spots in this project.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Jessica, next question.
The next question is, will the doors be replaced and will the walls be painted?
I know the walls will be painted. The doors, yes. The front doors?
Yep, the front doors, really all the doors inside, Ramiro, are going to be new. Okay. Really anything people are going to touch is going to be new.
There you go. Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Next question.
The next question is, will slides from this presentation be available online?
Sure. Yes. We will, the Memorial Branch Library is not open, so we will not be able to have actually we'll be opening November 4th for computer access. So we will have boards there. We will have this presentation and other related information on the library's website. And we will look and explore for other ways to share this information with the community, including the images is what I'm talking about. Okay?
Okay. The next question is, what materials are the shades made of?
I'll ask to have Jeff respond to that.
So we've got two different kinds of shades on the building. So the blue material, which shades both the lobby and the windows on the right, is what they call it's like an aluminum composite material. So there's kind of some epoxy material in between two pieces of aluminum, and that allows it to stay really straight and perfect looking. And then that aluminum is coated with a high tech. You can say paint, but it's way better than that because it'll last for decades. It'll last multiple decades. And that's going to allow us to get those very vibrant blues in there. And so that's one element of the sunshade. And then the stick elements, we're still kind of working with our contractor on the project. But so we've got a material that is an aluminum that looks like wood sticks because we really want to make sure that we're not creating anything that's a maintenance problem on the building. And so it looks just like wood, or they have some specially treated wood elements that we're also considering. So it's going to look like, but it's going to have the feeling of a soft kind of wood look with a series of sticks on the front of there that are just going to let kind of a beautiful filtered light come into that lobby space.
Thank you, Jeff. Jessica, next question.
Does the glass wall on the teen area run the entire length of the space, or is the glass just the opening from the main area into the teen space?
Jeff, can you help?
Yes, sir. On the teen area, we have glass that runs pretty much the length of that space. It's gonna run all the way along there. And again, when they put the drawings online, you can go back and look at the plan again, and you'll see that whole wall between the teens area and the reading room is it's there. And so we're gonna have glass into that space.
Thank you, Jeff. Jessica, next question.
Is the multi-purpose space where voting will take place?
Okay, Jeff or Kathy? Who wants
Probably better
to?
let Kathy answer that one.
All right.
Yes.
I think that's a good answer, right? Easy
Yep.
answer.
I love all the yeses we're getting to say. This is so fun.
Yeah, that means we're being responsive, I trust.
I do
Right, next.
that, Ramiro. I mean, I feel like we've really been able to address a lot of the comments that we heard at the first meeting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to editorialize there. Go ahead, Jessica.
It's quite okay. All right, Jessica, next question.
How much demand for copying is anticipated in 5 years?
Ooh, wow, that's, I'm not sure any of us, either Kathy or Dale, can respond. Who wants to take a stab at that?
I can share with you that demand for copying pre-pandemic was definitely rising every year, and demand for services like copying, printing, faxing, because people still need to fax for benefits, for example, for medical records, for example, as well as scanning. It all continues to keep going up. So I think the community is still really looking for a place where you can do those services in association with using a computer. Where we'll be in 5 years, don't know. But right now, it's definitely a very needed service.
Very good. Thank you, Kathy. Jessica, next question.
Will the adult learning area be a true Learn Center like the Carver Library has?
We hope it can be. That's the vision. But it all depends on the capacity of the budget. We will request for staffing for that Learn Center. So that's the expectation. That's the vision. It all depends on the budget situation for the city. We're going to be hopefully coming out of a pandemic, but it's still impacting the city's operating budget. So let's keep our fingers crossed. If not, we'll figure out a way to continue to deliver similar services, but maybe not at the same level. But our expectation is to make it a complete Learn Center. That's the expectation. Next question.
Okay. The next question is, will the small meeting spaces have multimedia or at least video conferencing capabilities?
Jeff?
So I probably should have covered that. I'm sorry. That was my omission. But yeah, we've got all of the meeting spaces in the facility set up for audio visual, both presentations and you could do that kind of distance learning in those spaces. So yes.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. Jessica?
Is the teen area a totally new concept, and what drove that idea?
All right, Kathy, I'll let you respond to that one.
We do have, and Jessica, could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry. I just want to make sure I answer it totally.
Is the teen area a totally new concept, and what drove that idea?
So the teen area isn't a totally new concept. All of the branches that we've been building, say within the last 5 to 10 years, have included this as a dedicated space. What we found is that the teens, and if you have teens at home, you probably agree with this, they don't necessarily want to hang out with little kids or with grown-ups for that matter. So having a dedicated teen space where they can do school projects, but also hang out, socialize, read, has been really important. So we have started doing them at new branches built from the ground up. So we're really thrilled to have enough resources in the bond project to transform the whole building and bring that best practice to Memorial.
So Kathy has a teenager, so I knew she could respond to that from personal experience.
He's about to turn 17.
Oh, wow. All right, next question, Jessica.
Could the presentation slides shown tonight be placed on the library's website where the link is for tonight's meeting?
We will make it available wherever we can so that it's accessible as much as possible. So yes.
Okay. What will happen with holds ready for pickup at Memorial when it is under renovation?
Good question. We will have in place an interim service. We haven't figured out yet exactly the approach we will take. We do have some experience at the Forest Hills Branch Library is undergoing renovations right now. And so we have some experience of how we're doing it there. We will continue to learn. And by the time we do Memorial, we will have figured out even a better approach to continue to provide contact-free pickup for library materials. So we will have interim service. Okay. Next question.
No one expected what we are going through with COVID-19. Have or will there be any proactive measures for continuing future safeguards as part of this project?
We are very mindful of the pandemic and how do we plan for, one, either the continuation, and we hope that it doesn't last much longer than next year. So we have taken that into consideration, and we've spaced furniture and created spaces where we're able to, if we have to provide some physical distancing, so we have more flexibility to also install temporary plastic shields and so on. We don't want to make them permanent at this time. There might be some elements, and Kathy, you can jump in if you want. But basically our approach is to provide versatile spaces and furnishings where we can then respond accordingly with temporary barriers or whatever we need to protect both the public and the employee.
We also are retrofitting the plumbing fixtures to be touchless, and then we do have the plan for the doors to be sliding doors, so they'll also be touchless. And then just keeping a really close eye on best practices for all the building systems, but like the air conditioning, heating, ventilation, fresh air intake, filtration, and then cleanable surfaces on all the furniture.
And Kathy, just to add to that, the furniture selections that we're working on in the new library, we're dealing with this in all the buildings that we're doing right now, and all of the furniture manufacturers now have components that integrate directly with the furniture that we selected for this building, so that you can have some shielding on there and you can leave it on as long as you need it. But it is also something that hopefully will get beyond this, and it can be potentially removed in the future if everybody decides they want to do that. But that's part of the furniture solution as well.
Okay, thank you both. Jessica, next question.
There's a question to clarify the construction schedule as being winter of 2021 through summer of 2021.
Yes. Well, if the question is why am I not providing specific dates, it's because right now it's pretty fluid, and so I don't want to make any promises that we cannot fulfill. So once we get closer to the selection of a contractor and the working with a contractor, then we have a better idea of how long the project will actually take, and then we can provide some more specific dates. So that's why right now we're talking in general time periods. Yep. Next question, Jessica.
The next question is there a plan for the meeting room to have a Mondo board or something similar?
I believe so. Kathy, do you mind?
Yes, we have a package of technology that will allow all the functionality. It's a slightly different product now, but yes.
I don't think we call them Mongo boards. That's why I hesitated, right? But it's technology that will facilitate distant meetings, distant learning, distant and virtual experiences, training, for example, programs, and so on. Yeah, it'll be fully equipped with that kind of equipment. All right. Next question, Jessica.
Are there any plans in the works to provide a teen librarian for Memorial?
Not at this point, other than we plan to have a designated staff to focus on doing outreach to teens and engaging the teens with their library. Whether it's a librarian or a paraprofessional, that is yet to be determined. It all depends on budget considerations and strategies going forward by the library system. Next question.
Can the book drop be connected to the library so that staff will not have to go outside to retrieve the books?
Yes. So, Ramiro, I'm sorry, that's something I forgot to cover. If you go look at the plan, when the plans are put online, you're going to see that there is a space where there is a book drop on the building. It's the blue. It may not even be labeled, but it's if we can go to the right, go to the right, go to the right, go like right across to the right from the circulation desk.
Oh.
From the circulation desk in blue still. No, to the right. There you go. So that's where the book drop is, and it goes directly into the library. So good point. And we've got a dedicated parking space over on that side of the building that will be for people who are dropping their books.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Next question, Jessica.
What is the status of the traffic light in front of the library so that patrons can turn in and exit safely out of the parking lot?
Well, early in the presentation, I indicated that I plan to engage the transportation department so we can look at the traffic flow. We can look at, we understand that there's risk because Culebra is very busy, and getting into the library parking lot can be a challenge. So we want to look at it holistically with the transportation department and come up with solutions in partnership with the transportation department. So that's the plan going forward.
The next question is, what will happen to the small playground?
It will stay there, As part of our plan, I indicated to our participants that we are really looking at the next priority as part of this. Part of this project is not funded with the same budget, is to what kind of improvements can we make to the grounds. And so we looked at the playground, and I indicated to staff that at the very minimum, we need to paint the playground. It will be there. It will remain available for the community. We just need to refresh it. And so we're working on a plan to do that, to accomplish that as well. Okay. Next question.
Will the landscape be addressed?
I think I just responded to that. In fact, I took some photos of different landscaping, xeriscaping, possible approaches that we can take to beautify the grounds. So that's, again, a priority. But I want to emphasize, it's not part of this project budget, okay? We just didn't have enough money to do more in the exterior. We are working with the Library Foundation to possibly help us raise some dollars. We're looking creatively at how we can direct some general operating funds to do some of the landscaping and beautification. I'm going to call it beautification of the grounds. So again, it's a priority. We don't have the total solution yet, but the desire is great. Okay, next question.
This is a comment. This individual likes that the school colors for Memorial High School and St. Mary's University will be taken into account, and that veterans will be honored, and it's a complete transformation of Memorial. It's just a comment.
Well, I hope that shows that we listen to the community and to our stakeholders, and we responded, because you told us that that was important, and so now you see it. I'm sorry, Jessica, I think you had another piece to the response.
No, sir, that's it.
Okay. Okay.
The next question is, will the AC units be replaced?
So there are multiple AC units in there, and almost all of them. There's one that's not terribly old, and so again, we're trying to stretch our dollars as far as we can, but virtually all of them will be, yes.
Okay. Next
How
one.
many book drops will be outside?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How many book drops will be outside?
I believe we only have one book drop that will go into directly into the building. And go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And I'm assuming the space will be protected in case, we had, not often, but we've had one or two occurrences where someone has put firecrackers or something, so the space will be protected, right?
It's a fire-rated room, yeah, so it's completely isolated from the rest of the library, and that's why you see it as an individual room in the space, yes.
Yeah. Great. All right, Jessica, next question.
Will the parking lot be fixed? The road?
It's not currently part of the project scope, so no, but we will look at it and see where the Memorial parking lot compares with other facilities and prioritize it accordingly as we request annually for deferred maintenance. I'll look at it, but right now it's not part of the project scope.
Okay. Will there be only one children's librarian at Memorial Branch?
Is Dale connected? If Dale can respond to that question. Dale? Maybe he's not.
Yes, hello. Yes, I am connected. So the staffing at Memorial is not changing as a result of this project. There's one children's librarian now, and there would continue to be one children's librarian.
Yeah, thank you. And Dale is Assistant Library Director for Public Services. I introduced him earlier, but this is the first opportunity he's had to actually chime in. Next question.
The question is to confirm that this slideshow will be available on the library's website, and asking if the community will be notified on Facebook when the slides are available online.
We will, not only Facebook, but other social media platforms. We will work with Councilwoman's office, who have been very collaborative in working on this project with us and disseminating information. We believe very strongly in public information, and so any mediums that we can utilize, we will utilize. So social media, Facebook, and other platforms, we will utilize them to stay connected with the community, provide updates, share the project scope, share the vision, the plans. So yes, we're committed to that. Next question.
This is more of a statement. The restroom doors should open outward, so freshly washed hands do not have to pull handles, which may have been touched by unwashed hands.
That's a good suggestion. Let us take a look at that. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Input acknowledged, or feedback acknowledged.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
All right. Next question.
Will the playground be painted after the renovation is done on the main building? And I believe the playground is being referred to as the adult exercise station, which is currently installed.
That is correct. My plan right now is once we reopen this beautiful transformed branch library, we want everything else associated with the library to look refreshed. So it includes the grounds, the adult exercise station. Yes, the answer is that's when we expect it to happen. So whether it'll be painted during construction or right before we open, I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but by the time we have some kind of a grand opening, that's when it'll be done by then. Next question.
Question is, will the floors be carpet or tile?
Oh, Jeff, do you mind?
So most of it is carpet, because the carpet will help, again, kind of absorb some noise. We've got some hard surface right at the entrance, some terrazzo right at the entrance to the building where it's going to get the heaviest wear, and then the majority of the space inside will be carpet.
Okay. Will public computer usage with the reservation system be available on November 4th?
I'm sorry, do you mind repeating the question?
Will public computer usage using the computer reservation system be available on November the 4th?
That's the plan. We don't have a sense right now of when well, first of all, once we are ready to start construction, we will have to close the branch. And right now it's closed. We do provide contact-free pickup, but we do plan, as the participant noted, that on November 4th, we plan to have access to our public computers, and Memorial will do that on November 4th. It may be that several weeks or maybe a month or two later, we will have to close it. But so the answer is yes. I'm sorry, I'm taking a long time to respond to the question.
Okay. The next question is, will there be charging stations for cell phones and laptops?
Yes, there will be. The furniture being selected will include, maybe not charging stations, but will include.
It'll have outlets to plug in your phone for sure.
Yeah, it's tech friendly, so that you can be using the sitting down, and you can connect to charge your phone and your devices, iPads or whatever you use, or laptops as well. Okay.
Next question. COVID-19 has made it more apparent that there is a digital divide in our community. Many of our community members depend on the library to stay connected. How does the library plan to keep our communities connected?
Well, so while the library is closed, we will look at continuing to offer a Wi-Fi signal if we can manage that with a contractor. So maybe perhaps we'll have some designated parking spaces where members of the community can access the Wi-Fi signal, perhaps some designated spaces for people that may not arrive there in vehicles. We may deploy, we're working on equipping several library vehicles with Wi-Fi hotspots, a connection, which can be mobily deployed. So we're looking at various strategies to continue to help the community stay connected, because I agree with you. The pandemic really highlighted the significance of the digital divide, its impact, especially on vulnerable communities that need access to computers and Wi-Fi to look for jobs, to obtain assistance, either rental assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance. Often the services are offered, or you need to sign up online. And so we're very sensitive to that. So we will work very hard to continue to provide some level of connection for the community. So this to bridge the divide, help bridge the divide. Next question.
There's a question to please clarify when the construction will start with the month and year.
Well, like I said earlier, I'll be very frank, okay? I'm very hesitant at providing specific dates, because I know that until we get to the point of negotiating a contract with the selected contractor, we won't know exactly when construction will commence. So right now we have an idea. We think somewhere around January. But once we get to a point where we feel there's a level of confidence that we know exactly when we'll commence construction, we will inform the community. I'm not prepared at this point to guess and be wrong. I could guess and be right, but I could guess and be wrong, and that's not what I want. So please pardon if you're frustrated that I can't give you a specific date. I just can't. I can't at this point.
Okay.
Next question.
When Memorial opens for computers usage on November 4th, will there be one-on-one help from staff?
Okay, Dale. I'm going to ask Dale for help, because we've had this conversation and not quite clear where we landed. So, Dale.
So that's a good question, of course. For one thing, when you call and make your appointment, you're welcome to bring someone with you to help you. So 2 people can use the computer. The library staff members will not be able to help in the same way they did before the pandemic, like being right over your shoulder, helping you so directly as we have in the past. Of course, they can answer general questions and so on. We also have some printed guides that will help with a lot of the common questions that have been coming up. Whether it's, how to apply for unemployment or those kinds of things. So we have some printed guides that will be helpful as well. But it isn't the same service that we had before the pandemic, not at this point quite yet.
All right, thank you, Dale. Next question.
Will the teen space have computers in that area?
Yes, Dale. Well, let me ask Kathy, because she's a little more familiar with that space. I believe we have provisions for mobile devices, but I don't recall we had actually designated computers in the teen spaces. I thought the computers were all in another designated space. But help me respond to that question, please, Kathy.
I actually do not know the answer to that. I don't know if we decided to put dedicated computers in the teen space or if it's mobile devices.
All right. So
I just texted the rest of the project team, though, to get an answer. So we should be able to answer that shortly.
All right. So we don't have an immediate answer right now. We're surprised, of course, that we can't answer it, but we will get an answer to you. All right, next question.
Will the Memorial Library continue to be a voting site on November?
If it's a designated location, yes, absolutely.
And that appears to be, oh, there's one more question that just came in. Will there be staff desks in the children and teens area?
We're not showing staff desks in there. Kathy, I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
I can elaborate. So we believe in staff roving, making themselves available. And so we primarily develop one central place, and that's circulation for a service point, because we want our staff to move around and respond to the patrons that we serve, whether it's seniors, whether it's teens, children, or adults. That's how we take the approach. So no, the answer is not a large service desk. We may have what I refer to as a perch, and one where they can be identified within a space, but not a service desk. Dale, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you recall on the team, back to the, I'm still thinking of the teen center, whether we have computers. I don't think we have designated computers.
I just got an answer to that. Sorry, that's why I was hesitating on the other service desk question. So the teens and adults will be able to check out laptops from the laptop dispenser to use anywhere in the library.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We don't have 6 computer stations, but we have capabilities to check out a laptop, and actually those are more popular for that population group, at least from my experience. Was there another question, Jessica?
Yes. Does the library staff decide which locations to make a voting location?
No, it's the county elections administrators, county elections. They ask us, may we use this, and we're always willing. We make all of our, because we believe libraries play an important role in civic engagement, and so all of our libraries serve as official voter registration sites, and it's provided by state statute. Not only that, but we make our libraries available for early voting and regular voting. So we work in partnership with the city clerk and the county elections folks on making our libraries available.
Will the meeting room have dividers for the space?
All right, Jeff, do you mind?
Keep that. I apologize. I had a little technical glitch on my end.
Will the meeting room have dividers for the space?
So we're not planning for that currently. We've got the one big space. There would have to be some additional structural considerations for that. So right now it's a very flexible space, but it's a single space.
And those are all questions.
I guess, hey, Jessica, the one thing that I will say to that is one of the things that we thought about is that we think helps with that is we've got the additional smaller meeting rooms in the facility now. So we've got the 2 small and the one that I'll call the medium that we labeled as a flex space. And we felt like that, that would be money better spent in terms of providing a variety of options for the facility.
Very good. Jessica, for folks that didn't have an opportunity or may have a question later, are we able to accommodate questions from any of these 3 options? Well, maybe not the first option, but option 2 and 3. And
yes.
For how long? And for how long?
As long as necessary. We will be answering and responding to the email account as well as the telephone. With the telephone number, individuals can leave a message and we will return their call. And with the email account, we will get back to them.
Okay. So if you don't have any questions today and then you think of a question later, you can direct the question to us through either option 2 or 3. Okay. And with that, I would like to give Councilwoman Gonzalez an opportunity if she has some closing remarks, if she doesn't.
No, well, thank you. Thanks for all the great questions.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good, and I hope that you like it. So we did get that one feedback that they liked it, but I didn't hear enough of that, and I really liked it a lot. So I hope that when you have a chance, just a simple thumbs up. Did you like it? So I thought it was really great, and I can't wait to see it. And Ramiro mentioned early on my remarks about the landscaping out front, because we know that it needs a little bit of help in that side. But also having a little bit of outdoor space, I think would also be really helpful. So, I think or perhaps there's some room underneath for some benches, or I don't know if that's already in there, but I think that would also make the site more welcoming. So thank you all so much, and so many people for listening in. So thanks for the presentation, and I hope you all like it as much as I do.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gonzalez. And I, too, I want to congratulate Jeff and his team for actually responding to our challenge and for his patience and what he has designed for us. I think I really like it a lot, but what matters is whether the community likes it, and that's what we want to hear, as Councilwoman Gonzalez indicated, because we want you to like it. I think it's a complete transformation of the Memorial Branch Library. I think it will instill pride. It's going to be more user-friendly. It's going to inspire reading and learning just because of the design. And so I hope all of you liked it, and we will continue to stay engaged. And, I've made that commitment to you all, and you have some avenues to ask additional questions, and we will follow through with providing the information on various mediums and platforms so that it's accessible to all of our stakeholders and the community that we serve. So thank you all for making time this evening to be with us and to allow us and give us the opportunity to share with you this exciting project. Thank you all. Good night, and take care of yourself.
Thanks so much. Bye.